Black culture, is it being bought or bound by corporate contracts? A test of wills, alliances, desires, and motives. Corporate strategy and structure is no amateur when it comes to preserving itself in the corporate arena. And most of its success is achieved through contracts. The Black community, on the other hand, who has invested its hard earned dollars into places such as Target, Essence Festival, Walmart, and many other corporations, when to draw the line between being respected as Blacks in the United States of America, Blacks and consumer dollars that are spent within these corporations. According to Pastor Jamal Bryant of Atlanta, Georgia, Blacks spend $12 million per day at Target alone. According to Forbes, it's more than 12 million. You're actually looking at 23 million a day at Target alone. So, again, how do you separate respect and honor in the Black community dollars, and corporate initiatives, or at least what was well known as DEI? Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. Let's talk about Essence Film Festival. Blacks again felt that they were disrespected and they were not honored during this year 2025 film festival. Okay, so I'm going to read something from The Wrap, which is a cultural paper, and this is about Miss Stephanie Mills. She wanted to express her concerns about Essence Film Festival 2025, and she really had some things that she wanted to say, which the Black community at this particular time do feel was very valid and very needed for such a time as this. So let's go over what Miss Stephanie Mills had to say. In an open letter, Stephanie Mills called on Essence Festival to correct the organizational slew of operational deficiencies that she says ultimately impacted her music performance this past weekend. I am writing the following to share my feedback following my performance at this year's festival. Mills said that in her statement, which she pinned to her Instagram account on Tuesday. While I remain grateful for the opportunity to have participated, my overall experience was unfortunately marred by significant production issues that negatively impacted both my performance and the artist's experience as a whole. In her message, which she issued by her company, Mills Entertainment Group, the singer address said that she believes issues she experienced are a result of broader organizational shortcomings at the festival. The scheduling and time management were severely lacking, creating a chaotic and stressful environment backstage, Mills said. This organization cascaded onto stage, impacting the flow of the event and ultimately diminishing the quality of the performance. She added that between logistic issues, sound system technical difficulties were deeply problematic. She said that she was not the only artist that dealt with these shortfalls. These issues were not isolated incidents, but rather persistent problems that severely hampered my ability to deliver my performance to the best of its ability. And I understand that I wasn't alone in experiencing these problems, Mill said. The lack of technical preparedness is unacceptable for an event of Essence caliber and prestige. The overall level of professionalism I witnessed fell far short of the standard I expect from such a highly regarded festival, Mills wrote. And I believe the comprehensive review of organizational structure and operational management is necessary to ensure the future of Essence and that it runs smoothly and meets high standards associated with the brand. So there was a lot of talk on the internet, right? A lot of people had said that she had wrote a letter and that she had addressed how Stephanie felt that Essence wasn't up to par and that some of the Black things were not being addressed and stuff like that. I did not get that letter. That's not the letter I got. So I'm reading from The Wrap. The letter I got was more towards the organization. and some of the issues that she felt that it fell short on. Okay. And Lauryn Hill. So let's talk a little bit about Lauryn Hill. So as you know, Lauryn Hill jumped in and she said for the first time, she felt that a production had taken responsibility for their shortcoming and for their falls. Now, I want you to listen to a recording. I'm going to play two, one by Lauryn Hill speaking, and then another about a production speaking about Lauryn Hill. And then I'll let you be the judge and the advocate of, do you feel that Lauryn Hill was actually being late previously and she used this as an opportunity to just jump on board and say, yeah, this is why I'm late sometimes? Or do you really feel that there are times when Lauryn Hill is actually late and it has nothing to do with the production? And so I'll let you be the judge of that. I'll play two recordings. You listen, you understand what I'm saying? But Lauryn Hill did address that she appreciated Essence for standing up to the plate and for addressing some of the production issues that go on within the entertainment business that causes artists to be late. Okay?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dish Nation. Now, it is 2017. Yes. Lauryn Hill is actually out on tour right now. And I know a lot
of... Or is she?
Bless you.
I'm allergic to all this Lauryn Hill stuff.
Oh, cool. Well, you better get a Kleenex because we going in.
Somebody give me some tissue.
And now, I know a lot of y'all going to have a hard time believing this, but Lauryn Hill was very late.
What? What do you mean by very late? Oh my God, I've never heard this story before.
Oh, well, buckle in, young Timmy, because I have a show for you. Her show is supposed to start at 8. Lauryn Hill is show up to 11.
What?
That's normal for her.
This ain't no nightclub. This is a real show, right?
No, Lauryn Hill's always late.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I like that. I like that. I like that. You know, people, we do the best we can with what we have. All those who are unhappy, you know, you're always free to go back there and ask for a refund. I don't want people who are with me, you stay, and you get what you get. You understand? You got me? I make no shorts about it. I apologize for being late, but there's a lot that goes on into getting this out to you. It's not easy.
So enough of that. Let's stay on track and let's talk about... Stephanie Mills was able to address that. And as you know, Lauryn Hill, after Essence took responsibility, and of course they did a great apology, and they stated that it was on their part and not on Lauryn Hill's part, right? So they was addressing Lauryn Hill. Now, I didn't see them address all the artists in particularly, but they did address it with Lauryn Hill. And Lauryn Hill took it as an opportunity, and what she basically said is she said that that was her first time ever experiencing a production even admit some of the things that go on behind closed doors that would cause artists to be late, or that would cause, you know, things to happen and things to go off track and off scale, right? Because I want to address two things in that. Number one, when it comes to artists, you have to understand that you are responsible, because I don't want you artists to get the ideas, especially you up and coming artists. It is called show business for a reason, and business comes before show, and show makes business, but business makes show stay in order and in structure. So guys, please understand that this one thing, that lateness and tardiness, no matter if it's on the production end or if it's on the artist end, it really causes a lot of problems. It wreaks a lot of havoc when it comes to budgets and scheduling and timing. Because you have to understand that money really is time, and time really is money when it comes to productions, and you are on a budget. And when you run over budget, you really start tampering into things, right? So you really have to understand the reason why I wanted to play these two clips, because you need to be the judge of what is the difference between someone jumping in and using that as an opportunity to say, yes, this is why I'm late, versus are you actually really late? So it's judging news for yourself and listening to news for yourself and listening to both sides, not letting someone influence you, not let culture influence you, but listening to someone speak and all sides speak on their own, okay? So that's number one. And then number two, addressing the situation of being bought or being bound. Now let's talk about corporate America. You do understand that when you get into contracts with corporate America, no matter what the situation is, you can't just jump up right away and release your contracts. So you have Black America, right? So Black America feels, I want to say betrayed. I don't know if the betrayed is the correct word, but a lot of people in Black culture, especially those who have been supporting Essence every year for years and years and years. It's like a Beyonce concert. So if you know anything about Beyonce concerts, that's how people turn out for Essence Festival every single year. You understand? It is an event that people respect and honor and has did so over pretty much 40 plus years or so. You understand that? And so when they feel that, this is what the Black community is saying, that their issues are not being addressed, that their culture is not being addressed, and then you're dealing with African, what you call culture. So you have two different cultures, right? You have FBA, what we call Foundational Black Americans. You understand what I'm saying? And then you have what's called Black, what you call Africans or African Diaspora. And so, as you know, there has been a transition, you understand what I'm saying, with Essence. So the owners of Essence now are different people, right? We know that, right? So you have to understand that a few changes have happened. So in culture, in the magazine, in the way of the take of the magazine, and some of the ideas. So Black people are used to attending, and you're addressing, like, let's just say if it would have been Black culture this year, right? So much of DEI would have been addressed. So much of Black vendors would have been invited out. So much of conversation on the stage would have been about, you know, what is going on with corporations and DEI and different discussions and about what's going on in America with Black women, because that's what Essence stood for. You know, of course, Black men too, but it was mainly a Black woman's magazine. It was guys who started it, Black men, Black businessmen, but they started it for Black women and the Black community, right? And so since that wasn't addressed, Black people kind of felt like, okay, what's going on? What is this shift? You understand what I'm saying? This is not really Essence. This is not really who we are. I made a short video earlier, and I addressed the Black community and Black culture. And what I told the Black community and Black culture is that you have to understand that there have been shifts going on, identity shifts. There have been culture shifts going on in the United States of America, right? So you're dealing with immigration, you're dealing with gentrification. I mean, there is so many things that are going on in America. So for a period, Black people was jumping on this culture band of what you call Black Americans. You understand what I'm saying? Or Africans. They were saying, okay, we all come from Africa. We need to get in touch with our roots. We need to start doing, what do they call these tests? These genealogy tests, all these different kind of tests. We need to find out what part of Africa we come from. We need to respect that. We need to honor that. People started wearing African attire. People started getting into African music. People started getting into African culture. And when I say people, I'm talking about Black people, right? And people started identifying more and more and more with African diaspora, and also just Black culture in general. Even if you look on the internet with the leader that is in Africa, who is Ibrahima Traore, you'll understand that there are a lot of Black people who associate with what's going on there, right? Telling America, stay out of their business, let those people handle up and build their country up, right? Like I told Black people, the problem is that you can do two things and be two things at once. You can't take your culture and then start taking your culture, giving up your culture, and then start saying, well, we need to be more into our African culture and our African ancestors and our African way. And then all of a sudden, you understand what I'm saying? When things start shifting toward that, because like I said, when I say being bought or bound, you have to understand that Essence is a business. It's a business first before it's anything. It is a business. And when it does research, it's doing research off of trends. It's doing research off of what's going on in our country. What's the vibe of our nation? What's the conversation of Black communities? What is going on? So when you have Black people bringing in, you understand what I'm saying? Well, let me put it like this. When you have Black people, but they of what you call African descent or Caribbean descent or different kind of descents, you understand what I'm saying? And they bring it in a different kind of culture, but they still considered Black, then you have to understand Black people. When you come and say, but wait a minute, that's not us. What is going on? So 1 minute you have slid to this side and say, okay, we're going to get in touch with our African culture, right? And then on the other hand, when the festival brings in the African diaspora or diaspora, as some will say, then Blacks say, oh no, what are you doing? That's like replacing us. That's not our culture. We FBAs, we foundational Black Americans. That's not our culture. And you're not speaking to us. You're not speaking to our issues. You understand what I'm saying? So now you have a dilemma because you have business, you have contracts, you understand what I'm saying? And then you have people that when they do business, they're looking at trends, they're looking at information. Now, I can't say for sure what Essence was doing. I wasn't there. I wasn't inside their head. But I'm pretty sure they did some research before they just threw up a festival. At least I would hope they would. I think every company, no matter if you're a nonprofit or whoever you are doing some type of research every year before you put on any type of festival. You need to know what is the pulse of what is going on. And the pulse of what's been going on in the Black community is all about the Africa way, right? Getting in touch with Africa, going back to Africa, learning about Africa, traveling back to Africa, get our brothers and sisters, Africa, standing as one, Africa. Right? So when Essence bringing this, we have to ask ourselves on one hand, what's the problem? What's the complaint? Is the complaint because that's really not who we are as foundational Black Americans? Or is the complaint because you're not speaking to our needs? You're not speaking to the DEI issues. You're not speaking to the real issues that you feel that FBAs are going to. What is the real core of the complaint, right? The real core of it. Because if that's what's been the trending, Africa, then what would be the problem of coming together in this year's festival? None other than Africa, right? And Black Americans joining with Black Africans. Why is there a division? If over the couple of years, that has been the trend that has been trending. Now, when it comes to corporate contracts, again, you have to go back that they say, okay, Essence has a contract with Target. Of course they do. And when you have a contract with these companies, you just can't jump up and say, oh no, we released you from your contract now because you're not following DEI. Well, number one, DEI is going by a law. You understand that? So different laws are changing in the United States when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. There are different policies being put in place. There are different laws that are being put in place that all companies have to respect. Not just Target, not just Essence, not just any of these places, that all have to respect, right? So what I mean by that, when you're dealing with somebody like Walmart, Target, you understand what I'm saying? Any type of big brand, when they put these things out there, whether they want them or not, you understand what I'm saying? Maybe they didn't really want it. Maybe they wanted to change all the time. Who knows? But at the end of the day, they still gonna have to follow that policy. If not, they can get penalized, they can get fined, right? So what is the better way to deal with all of this? Is it the way that Pastor Brian is dealing with it? Is it the way that the Black community is standing up saying, this is what we're gonna do? Because I think what Pastor Brian them is doing is that, number one, you have to recognize, you have to adhere to the law. But number two, you have to understand, you understand what I'm saying, that there were initiatives that were outside the law that was more contractual to the Black community that they felt Target didn't live up to. And that's where they came in at. But when it comes to essence, you guys, you as the Black community have to stop and say, okay, what is our fuss with that? What is our fuss with that? And what is our fuss with Africans and the African diaspora when the trend, and you go do your research, has been all about Africa? It's been all about finding out, oh, what part of Africa am I from? Where did I come from? You understand what I'm saying? It's been like in the 80s and all that kind of stuff. Nobody was talking about that. Nobody was identifying with that too much. People was more identifying with their roots here. Their Indian family members, their roots here, where they come from here. It wasn't a lot of African talk, right? So I would say over the last maybe 25 years, things begin to start shifting. Ideas begin to start shifting. Culture begin to start shifting. And I would say even the last 10 years is when it got deeper and deeper. So instead of looking at it as, oh, DEI, oh, they're not respecting us, oh, this and oh, that, really look at it from the FBA point of view too. You understand what I'm saying? You have to ask as FBAs, what made people do all the African extracurricular activity, and then when it came an opportunity to join with Africans at a festival, which is known as Essence Festival, what was the breakdown? What is that? You understand what I'm saying? Because we all know that Blacks have this problem with joining together, especially when it comes to business. It's just this problem, right? It's hard for Blacks to support other Blacks' businesses. Now, for you jump on my stuff and say, they always talking about Blacks' problem, Black. No. Now, I didn't say all Blacks and everybody, so just sit down and chill, right? But we all know that there is a lot of things in the Black community when it comes to unity, that there's always this problem, right? We can't start a whole trend and everything Africa, African clothing, African shea butter, African cream, African this, African travel, African that. And then all of a sudden when it comes to the festival and they bring Africans in because everything is trending Africa, there's a breakdown in communication with Blacks and Africa. What's going on? What's going on? Is it the way that Africa communicated when they say, well, it originally started with the motherland? Well, haven't that been what Blacks have been saying in America? That it originally started in the motherland? So surely that couldn't be the breakdown of the communication. That cannot be, you guys. That's what Blacks been saying over here for a long time. Not Africans, Blacks. Everything the motherland. So that couldn't have been it, right? So what is more of the argument? What's the breakdown? Why didn't Blacks just show up and say, hey, and greet their African brothers and sisters, and then talk to Essence right in their face? You know you get to ask questions at the conferences. You know you get to talk, right? You know you get to raise your hand. You get to speak in the audience. You get to do all kinds of stuff. And say, hey, why come DEI was not addressed this year? Why come certain things was not addressed? I can understand that part, but what was the whole breakdown and what was the whole separation? I think you guys need to check into that a little bit more. I think that FBAs need to really pay attention, because don't make Africa convenient when you want to make it convenient. And then when it comes time to join or to come out together, then there's a breakdown. You understand what I'm saying? Not only do this show break down within Black communities, in business, in everything. You see it in everything. In entertainment industry, artists can't even get along. They always fighting and acting a fool. In corporate America, it's always another one trying to step on another's head to get the pie and stay at the top and make sure everybody stay up under. It's always this breakdown. And then we have a chance for the African Blacks and then the Black Americans, which are FBAs, to come together. Guess what? Over something so simple as DEI, which is not going to be there, period, because the laws right now, regardless, there's a breakdown. So I think the issues run a little bit more deeper than what people are actually really saying. So guys, you may want to check that out, right? Check it out. Now, Lauryn Hill, Miss Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, we all know her, right? Her name is synonymous with this great, being a great legend. Everybody knows her songs. Everybody knows her music. Everybody knows everything about her, right? But times have shifted. Culture has shifted. People don't wait on you no more unless you Beyonce. Now, if you 2 hours late at a Beyonce concert, folks may wait on you. With a cowboy fans, you understand what I'm saying? They may wait on you. But even if Beyonce is 2 hours late, you better rest assured she's not gonna tell you, you know, well, you can just go get your tickets back, honey. Whatever y'all want to do. You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand, guys, whether you are artists, whether you are professionals, whatever the case may be, times have shifted and culture has shifted. And I want you up and coming artists to understand this. Whether you're on the business side or the performance side, nobody's waiting around, baby. People just not waiting around. Like I said, unless you Beyonce, you understand what I'm saying? Folks just not waiting around. They just not. They want their money back. They don't have time for you. You is late. They don't even care what the excuse is. They don't care if you the excuse or the production is the excuse. They just don't care. And that's how people are these days. So artists, make sure that if it's the production problem, you make sure that you're hiring the best production team that you can. And if you can't afford to, maybe you need to create your own production. You understand what I'm saying? And have your own independent production. And then number two, do you understand what I'm saying? Because the reason why I address that, because with people addressing Lauryn Hill being late, if production is the problem, then there will be a lot of artists late all the time. Think about that. If these productions are the problem all the time, then there will be a lot of artists late all the time. Now, you would have to ask this question right here. When there is a production problem in your concerts and stuff, is that because that's your personal production team, or is those actual production teams? And if they're being late as you being Lauryn Hill, what is it that they're working for other production, they doing other shows that they're not late with them? So that has to be more of a problem of respect or something. You understand what I'm saying? So let me give an example. Let's just say you have a big company such as ABCDFG, right? And they do Beyonce, they do Lauryn Hill, they do Flex One, they do just all kind of people, right? They may even do Miley Cyrus, they do all kind of people, right? So if they have a breakdown on being late with Lauryn Hill all the time, then why they not late for the other ones all the time? So that means that's more of a disrespect, you understand what I'm saying, to Lauryn Hill concerning that company. If the production is the problem. Now, if the production is not the problem, then that would mean that it's the artist's problem. So there's different angles and different ways that you need to look at things. People are going to put things in the news. There's gossip that's going to be in the news, but you have to be able to articulate and to think for yourself to be able to break these kind of things down and to ask those kind of questions yourself, right? Especially as artists, because if you're going to do something in life, I am telling you guys, I'm telling you, you got to be on your A game. I don't care if you're in corporate America. I don't care if you're an artist. Okay. I don't care who you are. You got to be on your A game, right? So, with that being said, I don't know who's at fault. The only thing I do know is this, that there are people who've had things to say about Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill has what she has to say. And Essence stood up and said that this particular incident had nothing to do with Lauryn Hill, that it was all on them, and they take full responsibility. Now, as much as people would like to say unprofessionalism, this and this and that, for some reason, Essence was not unprofessional in that area of taking responsibility. There are a lot of people that if they know you have a bad name for being late, all they would do is contribute it to you being late, right? That's what they would do, right? But they didn't do that. And they said, we're not going to play with Lauryn like that. We respect Lauryn. Lauryn and we're going to tell the truth, and it was on us. So kudos for Essence for that. Whatever everybody else has to say about Essence, this is what I would say about FBAs and Essence. Essence, number one, remember how Essence started. It started with black men, which were American black men, who respected black women and who spoke about black women's issues that were very important to them. You understand what I'm saying? And they put a lot of effort to it. Even they put a lot of work into it, a lot of effort. Even their contributors, people who wrote in, people who volunteered to write in, everybody played a part in Essence. And the blacks in America supported it for years. So kind of keep that in mind when you are doing any of your things in this earth. You understand what I'm saying? But also FBAs, also keep in mind that for some years now, you have been trending Africa. You have been trending Africa. So there shouldn't have been no problem with you going to join your black brothers and sisters at the Essence Festival. Now, they said that some of Essence was not inviting a lot of black vendors out. I didn't dig into much research about that, and I don't know if that's actually true or not, so I will not speak on that. But it was stated. It was stated that Essence was not inviting out as much as black vendors as Essence has always done. So again, I think that FBAs and both Africa and African Essence need to pay attention that if you want the togetherness and you want to join, I think you have to respect both cultures. You have to respect Black American culture because it's not African culture. And then you have to, blacks, you have to respect African culture. You understand what I'm saying? It can't be convenient when you want it and when you want to claim it. It has to be, if that's what you really mean, you respect it. And Africans, you respect Black culture. And when you come together, you make Essence next year in 2026 the best festival that anyone could ever dream of, okay? So take that into consideration. Both sides do your research. See what FBAs need. See what Africans diaspora need. Bring those needs together. Bring them together at the festival. Both respect each other. Both join in together and have the best celebration in the United States of America and make Essence proud. Make it a proud magazine. Do you understand me? Make it proud. It spent all those years building. It spent all those years dedicated. Make it proud. Make it proud that it went from just Black women in the Black community and that it was able to bring Africa and Black Americans together to celebrate and to honor one another and to respect one another. Now, if you guys can do that, 2026 should be off the chains. And if you get somebody on the internet trying to say what I say, they lying. I said it first. They hear you out there in the ether and they copy you because wasn't nobody else talking like that, baby. You have a great day, okay? And they try to beat you to the punch and act like they said it. But I said it here first, honey. I hope you enjoyed this week's news commentary. Leave your likes, shares, and comments. Also, do not forget to support PayPal, Cash App. Guys, support. Right now, I am asking 1,000 people to give $1 each for production costs and for everything else, okay? So, guys, you have a wonderful one. That wind was just messing up my hair, honey. All that stuff going on, all that drama. You understand what I'm saying? But I was determined that no matter what, that I was going to bring this, okay? So sometimes you got to do what you got to do no matter what is going on. You guys have a blessed one, okay? Bye-bye.
Never stop, forget it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers.
Never stop, forget it if I want it. Gotta make make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.